Hello and welcome to this video where we got a really important question that people have been asking. Why use scholarships to get into college? Kind of behind that is this all the work that might be involved in trying to get the scholarships. Is it really worth it? Well, that we're going to be delving into and answering in this video. First thing we really want to talk about is debt and what that does to young people coming out of school with debt. Tied to that is what matters for long-term wealth creation, how those are connected. We also want to be looking at scholarships, like what else do they provide besides just money? Is there other value to that? And we want to be asking the question or thinking about what you can begin doing right now, today, in order to get those scholarships, find those. All those things we'll be covering in this video. All right, let's talk about debt, because what we want to be thinking about is that every dollar you have to pay for a debt is a dollar you don't get to pay to earn money. That's a huge, huge difference over your lifetime. So you come out of college, and on average, the average college debt is $40,000. All right, that doesn't sound too bad, right? Heck, new cars, like 40 grand nowadays, right? That doesn't sound too bad. But when you think about every dollar that you're now paying to pay down that debt, plus adding the interest to that, is not going to earn money, you can begin to kind of imagine that gap, that difference, right? So I'll give you an example of my son, who has more than $40,000 in debt, right? He's got is over $100,000 in debt. And so that college diploma did help him get the job he has today. By being at that college, he actually had a girlfriend whose father was a partner at a pretty big firm, got him a job there, and then that job led to the job that he has now. It's a decent paying job. It's a good job. The other company was a good paying job. There's good career opportunities in both of these. He probably would not have had that job had he not gone to that particular school. Maybe he would have found a different one. Who knows, right? But that college diploma did lead to a good paying job. However, $1,000 a month that he now has to pay for that student loan debt is $1,000 a month that he doesn't have to pay his living expenses, or more importantly, invest. Now, the company has a 401k program, so some of that money is coming out. Bottom line is, though, once again, that $1,000 that's going towards his debt cannot go to other things. That makes a huge difference in long-term wealth creation. All right, so if we want to think about long-term wealth creation, it's invest in your money. Now, you can invest your money in lots of different ways, and trying to find multiple streams of income. There's books out there talking about multiple streams of income, highly recommended for lots of reasons. Safety, one area doesn't begin to do as well. You got to make more money in the other areas and things like that. Bottom line is, though, money you earn, you want to invest it for your long-term retirement and other plans. So let's say you do like a 401k kind of program, right? So you would be investing $1,000 a month, which is what he's spending, my son's spending on his college debt. Now he's going to be paying that off in 10 years. So for 10 years, he's paying $1,000 a month to get that paid off. If he could invest that in the stock market, on average, the S&P 500 over its lifetime has averaged just over 9% annual returns. We'll use that number just for number's sake. So if he's able to, instead of paying that $1,000 for student debt, he's investing that into the S&P 500. So works for 40 years, right? 22, gets out of college, 40 years, 62. He would have just over $4 million from $1,000 a month over 40 years, earning on average the 9% return. All right, so he can't start doing that until now 10 years go by where he's paying off the debt. So he starts now at age 30, so he's only going to be able to do it from 32 to 62, so 30 years. His return on investment would be 1.7 million. That debt of 100,000 has turned into a loss of $2.3 million over his working lifetime. That's the cost of the debt, right? That long-term wealth creation is being delayed because debt. The less debt you have, the sooner you can pay it off, far better you're going to be long-term. All right, now, what is that something else behind getting scholarships? Financially, it's a big deal, right? If you could pay for your college through scholarships and grants. But beyond that, the process of getting those, finding those to cover your college, that skill set, that research, that perseverance, all those things that you need to do to find it is invaluable because of what it's doing for your mindset. Your mindset about being able to solve a problem, stick through it, figure something out that's going to have long-term benefit, something you won't see or feel for literally, in this case, decades. That is incredibly powerful. Now, financially speaking, we've just kind of talked about that, right? So you get a scholarship that can reduce that debt by $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Every year you save on the debt, like when it can get paid off, has a multiplier effect, exponential effect on what is going to be long term, right? So we saw that 10 years would cost my son $2.3 million, right? So every year he saves on that closes that gap. So he loses less and less, and it's an exponential factor, right? So the scholarship, one, going about trying to find all of them, because there are billions that go unclaimed. You want to find out where those are and how you can get those. That process of doing that is priceless. On the true financial end, it means millions to you. So I wish I had understood this years ago when my children entered in college, right? I didn't really understand this realm of the higher education. You apply for certain grants, you apply for some scholarship, presidential scholarships, there's things that the schools offer. You submit your packet. This is what we can give you. The idea of finding other scholarships, that there are billions that go unclaimed, wasn't even really on my radar. So if I had known that information like we are giving you today, and if I had known Denise Thomas, who I've mentioned in other videos, who was kind of the person who introduced me to this whole idea, starting in middle school would be an ideal time to start helping your child begin to do their research. You can help them at that age, but even as they go into high school, begin to think about this. What's available out there? Where do I find these scholarships? What kind of grants? What aren't being claimed? Today's world, with the internet and even now AI and its ability to search vast volumes, you're going to be able to find a huge amount of information on scholarships, schools that have particular programs, money that goes unclaimed. You start now to do that. Begin to figure out, all right, yeah, I might like this school or that school. They have this scholarship. What do I need to do to be able to get it? What are the things they're looking for? You identify those things at an early age, and you start, figuring out a good path to accumulate that. Remember, that process is unbelievably valuable. Skill-wise, never mind, every dollar you get, dollar saved is multiplied exponentially over your lifetime. Well, this video we just wrapped up is priceless. Honestly, if you take this and apply this, think of those numbers I threw out there, man, I pray that you take it and run with it and learn from it. Encourage you to subscribe to our channel, check out other videos. In particular, you might be interested in the video, Should I Worry About Getting into College? Check that out today. Come back and see us in another one.